JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 5th of March 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts that we looked at this morning just to see how everything's getting along, and just we'll have a look at a few setups. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also just before we jump in as well, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis. So yeah, guys, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab on the top there. So right. Now then, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE 100. Now I looked at this one recently, and basically what I was talking about was that in a way, if this barrier here, the 6,858, continues to hold, well, we could see another round of selling here, especially if it travels back below the 6,734 zone. Let me just remind you what that level was here. So this 6,734 was the lowest point of sorry, this is the low of January 2019. So basically we saw a drift lower, we saw a reversal, and today, yep, you can see that the index is holding its path south. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, it does mean that we're gonna now travel all the way here towards these lows, these current lows, but of course it increases this chance of doing that. But for now, we'll be very careful and cautious, because again, this market is a little bit sometimes, well, no one wouldn't say even sometimes, but a little bit unpredictable, let's put it that way. So for now, if we see a reversal, a strong push higher and a push above the 6,858 zone, then yes, this is where we will consider some higher levels, and because at the same time it would place the price above its 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and yep, in a way more buyers could join in here and potentially drive this one towards the psychological 7,000 territory, or a little bit higher towards the 7,044 mark. But again, for now it's moving lower. Of course, yes, we are aiming for the downside here. We're now going to be aiming for the 6,536 mark. Just to show you what that level was here, that's basically the lowest point of 2018, guys. So good potential area of support, but slightly below that we do have the current low of this year, near the 6,460 mark. So keep your eyes on that one. For now, like I said, we are leaning more towards the downside, but then again, everything can change. It might reverse here back to the upside. So for now, let's say if we are targeting this level here, the 6,536 mark, probably we would have our stop loss somewhere around here, somewhere around the 6,858, or even better, maybe this 6,734 mark, just in case this suddenly reverses back to the upside. And as I said, this is the level for us from where we will aim for higher levels, slightly higher levels, I should point that out. S&P 500. Now yesterday we had a nice close in the positive territory. The index grew, well, gained around 4%, a little bit more than 4%, and as you can see, last time when I was looking at this one, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this long-term upside support line taken from the lowest point of December 2018. Now you can see that this area held the index perfectly, and what I was saying, that if we get another test of it, but if it struggles, let's say, to make its way above this upside line, then we could see another round of selling. So looking at the cash index right now, we can see exactly that. We can see that the price is currently balancing around the 3035 mark. So basically we will have ourselves a nice opening gap to the downside here. So, and the price, like I said, is currently around here, guys. So, well, keep your eyes on this one. It could be quite interesting. The way we could play this one out is, of course, given that it's a little bit tricky here right now at the moment. I mean, the markets are indecisive, and what you could do here is just keep an eye on some of these key support and resistance levels. Now, if this suddenly drops below the yesterday's, or I should say below Tuesday's low, around the 2,976.77 mark, then yes, we will aim for this lowest point of 2020 around the 2,856 territory. So something to keep an eye on, but again, like I said, first we need to see a nice good drop below this 2,977 mark. In terms of the upside, well, the same idea remains, but again, we'll probably lower our breakout level here if we get a push back above this upside support line, this long-term upside support line, and also we get a push above the 3,155 territory, somewhere around here, then there could be a possibility for this one to move back to the upside. Let's not forget that for now, it's quite interesting to see if we will have a nice V-shaped recovery here or not. For again, at this point in time, of course, all this is kind of falling apart right now, but let's see how this is going to play out. And as I said, if we get a push back above the 3,155 territory, yep, this is where we will aim for larger recovery. Jumping into gold, I looked at this one yesterday, and basically what I was telling you guys was that to keep an eye on this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 24th of February. Now, given that we managed to break it to the upside, what I was also yesterday saying that keep your eyes on this potential flag pattern here, a bullish flag pattern, which, as you can see, is working out nicely. So it's working according to textbooks. We are getting a nice break above this 1652 territory, and yep, the next level that we're aiming here for is the 1660-61 zone, roughly around there. That's the high of the 27th of February. Of course, don't get me wrong, we will continue aiming for the upside, especially if it pushes above this 1660 territory, and then yep, we will aim for these highs of February around in between 1681 and the 1689 zone. So this is going to be our target for now, especially if it climbs also above the 1660 zone. It made a nice move above the 1652. That's wonderful. Like I said, yep, we are still aiming for the upside. The next obstacle to keep an eye on is, like I said, this 1660. Keep your eyes on that one, guys. In terms of the downside, we would like to see a drop back below this downside line, and well, also ideally a drop below the 1612 territory, which is the highest point of January, and then yep, we will aim for lower areas. For now, it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table. Bitcoin. Now, I've looked at this one this morning, and what I was telling you guys to keep an eye on the on this barrier right here, the 8,973 mark. So you can see that we've managed to comfortably break this to the upside. The price traveled higher, but got a hold up around the 100 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. What I was also saying, that in a way we could see this one climbing further north, but keep your eyes on this little a few of these downside lines. Now I do understand that these a little bit are tentative, but nevertheless we'll keep an eye on them, and the first one to watch is of course this downside line taken from the high of the 19th of February. We'll see if it actually can provide some sort of resistance. If it can, then we could see another round of selling here, potentially drifting back down, but if it struggles to do so, then well, I mean, the next downside line to consider here as the next resistance level could be this one taken from the high of the 13th of February. So again, guys, for now, be very careful, be very cautious. If, like I said, if it travels higher, but let's say it gets a hold up around here near this downside line, yes, we will aim for the downside again. But for those who are a little bit more on the cautious side, you could keep an eye on this little upside support line. So just in a way, basically, if we get a drift lower and if we do get a drop below this upside line, then yes, we will get a little bit more comfortable with lower levels, and we will aim for that current lowest point of March around the 8,400 zone. So we'll keep an eye on this one. For now, from the very short-term perspective, we are targeting this downside line here taken from the high of the 19th of February. We'll see how it performs around here. If it struggles to, if this line struggles to hold, then a break of it could lead towards this other downside line taken from the high of the 13th of February. So something to keep an eye on, guys. And like I said, the downside for us will be on a break of this upside, short-term upside line taken from the low of the 1st of March. AUDUSD now, Australian dollar is today one of the weaker ones, and in fact it is the weakest from the top 8 currencies. And basically you can see this reaction. So basically what I was talking about in my recent videos where I was covering AUDUSD, and what I was saying that if we get this break of this downside line taken from the high of the 1st of January, of course, yes, that could be a good sign for the bulls, but ideally we would prefer to see a push above this 0.663940 territory, which, as you can see, we didn't get. So the pair quickly reversed back down, dropped below the downside line, and well, and now it's kind of drifting to the downside. Now, how we could look at this one right now is, of course, we'll try to be very cautious and stay cautious. And if we see a drop below this 0.6568 zone, roughly around there, guys, if we see a drop below this, then yes, we will aim for lower levels. If it struggles to, let's say, drop below this, then well, will remain neutral. For us, the upside scenario still remains the same. A break above the 0.663940 zone, that's what we're looking for in order to consider higher levels. GBPCAD. Now I talked about this one this morning, and basically for now working out perfectly. This morning we were still hanging around below the 1.7255 zone. I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this one. If we get a nice good strong push above it, then yep, the next target for us is around the 1.7377. As you can see, the pair, it continues to drift higher. We are seeing a small correction, but that's quite normal given the steep uprise that we had here already. But again, as I said, we are targeting this 1.7377 zone. We'll take it from there. We'll see what it wants to do after, because if it gets a hold up here, then we could maybe see something like this happening, where we could see a bit of a correction here back to the downside. But of course, if that gets broken and we see maybe at least a 4-hour candle close above this, then well, maybe we could then aim for that highest point of January near the 1.7481 zone. Again, for now, be very careful. We already, like I said, we already had a decent uprise. It is currently trading not far from this target of ours, around the 1.7377. If it gets a hold up around here, then yep, we will aim for a bit of a correction here to the downside. But the downside correction still could be, well, this move lower could be temporary, because again, we are currently now balancing above this upside support line taken from the low of the 2nd of March, guys. So something also to keep in mind if we see that correction lower. USDJPY, very quickly on this. So the Japanese yen is on the is actually on one of the stronger ones today. So you can see the effects here on this pair, and yep, USDJPY is drifting lower. This is what I talked about this morning, because this morning we were hanging around slightly below this barrier here, the 107.48. But what I was saying that given that this area here, this 107.48 is previously it acted as a fantastic area of support. That's the lowest point of February. Now it kind of took the role of resistance, and you can see the effects here. We are seeing the pair drifting lower. The only problem here right now is it's currently stalling near this 106.82 territory, which was previously the lowest point of March. Now you can see that we did get an overshoot here, but still the pair is balancing around that level. So again, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could just wait for a nice good clear move below this and then aim for further declines. Now in terms of further declines, let me just jump into a daily chart on this one. We do have a nice good potential area here of support, which is the lowest point of October, and that's around the 106.47. so we'll keep an eye on that one. We're not far from there. So yep, for now that's going to be our target, because if it gets a hold up around here somewhere, we may see a nice decent correction here back to the upside. Like I said, keep your eyes on this level, keep your eyes on that lowest point of October, and if we do get a hold up here, then yep, maybe we could aim then for a bit of correction here to the upside. And finally, EURUSD. So now this is what I talked about this morning. Given the fact that we managed to hold to this area here, to this key area of support around the 1.1095, this is what I was talking about. So in a way, as long as it continues, this is what I was saying this morning, as long as it continues trading above this level, there is a good possibility for this one to drift higher. For those who were more on the cautious side, I was kind of talking about this barrier here, the 1.1185, and as you can see, we managed to get a nice pop above this. So for now, it still increases the chances of a further move higher. Our target for now is the 1.1238 zone. That's basically the highest point of December, and well, if we do see a test of that, we'll take it from there. If it wants to travel higher, yes, we'll reevaluate everything again. But if it gets a hold up here, then well, maybe this could lead to a bit of a correction here to the downside. But for now guys, yes, we are aiming for higher levels, especially for this 1.1238. Let's see if we manage to reach that. The downside for us would be somewhere from around this 1.1095. A drop below this could lead to a bit of a deeper correction, because again, we cannot really talk about any like at least downside in the medium term, because we are still trading above this upside support line here. So that's why for now, for this at this point, if we see a drop below the 1.1095, then yes, we will aim for lower levels, but only up until this upside support line. Okay guys, I really hope you found it useful. Just to let you know that there won't be any Traders Espresso or tea time tomorrow. We will resume on Monday, but as always guys, I hope you have a fantastic trading day tomorrow, and have a fantastic weekend. So yep, and like I said, we'll resume on Monday, and for both Traders Espresso and tea time. Anyway guys, thank you very much, and bye bye.